Oh, all right. Hello, welcome to the Identity V Premier Tournament. Currently, we are on our final semi. I'm sorry, our quarterfinals with the WWW versus 637 matchup today. How are you feeling, Con?
I'm feeling excited about the matchup because it's quarterfinals. So
Mm-hmm.
now uh, they are the great one of the greatest team, no, from the at the top that is fighting for the finals. And I want to see something exciting, right? Last time, last match I commentated was really good,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope they can repeat. They can repeat that. I hope the teams can repeat that because I want to see a great match again.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel?
I'm also excited. I I'm curious about how WWW is going to perform since last matchup uh, was canceled. So WW or well, I guess Sky DQ'd. So we WWW went straight into semifinals. Um, so I wonder how their performance is going to be like today. Um, from what I know, they do have a Goatman, and there is, if I remember correctly, there is a Goatman player on both sides. So I
Yeah,
think we might be seeing round one Goatmans today.
yeah. The round one Goodman. It's actually I prefer the Goodman match than Alabalu match because
Mm-hmm.
it's it's most funny, more funny than the other one because than the Alabalu because Goatman it's confusing, no, with the cage, his
Mm-hmm.
ability and everything can it's more exciting to watch than an Alabalu match only
Mm-hmm.
because the Alabalu is fast. You have to like it's fast and his ability it's a bit strong. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
corner you get on corner, so it's a little bit more. I want to say boring, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
because the both of them are funny to kite against, in my opinion. Even though I hate
Mm-hmm.
Alabalu for obvious reasons, um, but seeing the Goatman a little bit more, it's a pleasure for me because it's more funny.
Mm-hmm. I really agree, especially when you see like Goatmans pull off, um, like highly skilled moves where they do one of the black cages and the survivor can't go through and they're just trapped. Um, and I'd really like to see more of those, especially like, uh, I know that under their belt, 637 does have Ford and Prospector if they decide to play it again, and I would definitely enjoy watching that.
Yeah, in IGL2 they are playing more Goatman round one than Alabalu, and
Mm,
that's really fun to watch because Goatman is not an easy it's not an easy hunter, no, for
mm,
because even for the hunter, even for the subs, it's not that easy. So even pro hunters kind of struggle with the Goatman, right? They miss cages too. Like they do mistakes that every player can do. So seeing more Goatman, it's more funny, and I really like
mm,
A Goatman playstyle, in my opinion.
mm.
Uh,
But-
so
mhm,
uh, WWW banned Ever Sleeping Town. That is a great round one map, and
mhm,
637 respond to that with a Chinatown. Chinatown, it's a great response to Ever Sleeping. Like I find
mhm,
every Chinatown. I'm sorry, Chinatown a great response on every Town ban because they are both balanced from both sides. I want to say, and
mhm,
can help both sides of the team, even Hunter and Survivors. Even though I
mhm.
prefer every sleeping. because every sleeping it's more small, so the survivors can work a little bit better in our map for the cyber layout, and the hunter can pressure well. So yeah, ever sleeping it's a great map for round one, and it's a great ban.
Yeah, the ever sleeping. I feel like we commonly see ever sleeping round one. So just getting it out of the way and instead going for Chinatown. I feel like both Goatman and Hullabaloo are pretty good on Chinatown. Hullabaloo has some really great jump spots, alongside along the buildings that take him from one place to another. And Goatman's mobility on this map is also really good. I feel like
Yeah, because they are open and they have corridors to work with as Goldman, so you can like get free hits from the surge, and there are good spots to kite, no? Like 11, Fake Gate, etc. So again, it's both of them. It's pretty balanced.
And I do want to say as well, just for some background, if I remember correctly, WWW's Hunter, I love me, WWW's Hunter, I Love My Tummy did play in Koa, and if I remember correctly, they did have a Bonbon, so we might, if they do go to round 3, we might see the Bonbon pick, but yeah. Alright, so now we are moving forward into the ban pick section, and they have yet to ban... Oh,
Okay.
and it seems like they do ban this year in Antiquarian.
Yeah, because Antiquarian right now it's one of the best survivors in the game, because she buys time for free, no?
Yes.
So it's really good to work with, even with round one picks like Puppeteer, Psychologist, and more else. So she buys really a lot of time, and Seer, we know why Seer is banned.
Surprisingly enough, though, they opted not to ban Priestess on Chinatown, which is completely fair, and they do pick the Perfumer and Embalmer round 1. I do think Embalmer is interesting just because he might be stronger and even a more critical pick in rounds like 2 and 3. But I think they're definitely gearing for Goatman.
Yeah, they are predicting a Goatman, and they want to secure a tie right here, you know, with the banner pick. They are banned forward. We saw a forward yesterday in IGL against Zeta Peter, and that forward kinda hate though. So banning the forward right now, it's understandable if you find you against a great forward. Even though the forward and Goatman matchup, it's kinda on Goat. Then the Puppeteer ban and the Novelist. Puppeteer, it's one of the best round 1 picks, even though he buys a lot of presence. And I think that WWW didn't plan for a Puppeteer pick here, only because there is the Perfumer, and the Perfumer and Puppeteer together can like give a lot of presence to the Hunter. So it's a little bit too risky to play forward. To play Puppeteer and Perfumer together.
I do think that, I mean, I think it's smart that they saved Novelist for 4th pick, just so that he's open for other rounds, because Novelist is really, really strong against characters like Opera, um, and he does counter Goatman and Hala, which is very nice. And he
Yeah,
does Hunter does pick Goatman into this
yeah,
comp.
we are
Mhm.
yeah, we're seeing a Goatman in Chinatown, a strong map for him because it's kind of open. So he and again, it's one of the best round one picks, so it works really really well.
Mhm.
Now we are seeing the map, the area selection, um, the rescuers point center, of course, like always. Um, and oh,
Mhm.
and they're
Oh.
choosing what I the Tetris piece.
Mhm. I do think though, even though it's unique, I think this is a good an interesting spawn selection. Um just because it allows the survivors to kind of negate this cipher lock, the lock cipher in the corner, and Embalmer can just go upwards towards restaurant if there's possibly a cipher there. Um, However, it does mean that Novelist is forced to kite in Flower Pot, and it's not that Flower Pot is bad. It's just that Hotel is definitely the stronger area that they let the Goatman have.
Can mind game, you know. You can go from the to the right and mind game a little bit at building. You can
Mm.
try to force to go at the hotel, even it's a little bit difficult,
Mm.
but you can try. And the builds are pretty solid, no? Double
Mm.
tide, up beside on the Belmer, and the borrow time and tide on the Gatekeeper. They
Mm.
want to secure the fight. They really want
Yeah.
to.
It seems like they are going triple tide and triple flywheel. Um, so it definitely does seem like they're gearing up for a tie.
And unfortunately for them, the Belmer is not gonna start,
Mm.
so he has to use the coffin at the end game, maybe, most
Mm.
likely. And the Goatman can try to kite out to chase out the perfumer too.
Mhm. It's definitely possible, especially because the perfumer, with how she's placed, it's hard for her not to run into other survivors. But it does seem like the Goatman is opting to chase the novelist, who's headed towards Flower Pot at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, so we're seeing the rotation is they remained in the same spot. The perfumer remained there. The gravekeeper they went
Mm.
up, and then the embalmer remained there.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. The novelist being forced to use the book straight away and actually going through the cage right into the hunter. And abnormal is now up. However, it does seem that the novelist goes down immediately, and he is within the cage range of the cipher, so that means that the Goatman is likely to use him abnormal on that,
Yeah,
even
it's
though it's
near the
not. Mhm.
so it's kind of an unfortunate kite for WW style. Now the gravekeeper is forced to go on this rescue. It's not that easy. He used abnormal on the Cypher, and now they are so behind.
Mhm. Even though it wasn't max strength abnormal, it still hurts to have that 46% go all the way down to 0. But he does get a before half rescue, and the Goatman doesn't seem to be going for the double down. The novelist now has a flywheel and a book to work with, but unfortunately utilizing neither of those. Um,
Yeah, he's planning to go on
mm,
this corner and buy some time here, and then use this spot of after you, or even they can sell too though.
mm,
But they are not planning to do that. The Belmer is going in for this rescue, and it's not a tight rescue. Ooh.
mm,
Oh, they great. goes down because he was in rage. A backdoor rescue from the banner here, and now the
Mhm.
novelist has to do a good rebound to recover this.
Yep. Uh, this is not looking too great for the survivors.
Yeah,
Till
he
then.
goes down.
uh, um, However, it does
Now the
seem
novelist
that.
buys some time from
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
Try to drop down, misses it. The novelist has the book and the palette to work with.
Uh,
Tries to go for the chip, but doesn't link yet.
mhm.
Go for
Ooh.
the palette.
Mhm. On top of that, there is the oh,
Oh,
the palette stun
wow.
forced the goatman out of the cage. Oh, and beautiful mind game from
Okay.
the novelist there. However, good discipline on recognizing that he was running into a wall and not flywheeling, um, and instead using that book
Palette.
for a second palette stun. And this does look like a beautiful rebound from the novelist, especially considering now both final ciphers are at 50. But unfortunately, by
Yeah,
dying,
you recover
still. Mhm.
and they are all full heal, no? So it's really good from the sur side. Now the 62% cypher it's in middle, so it's hard to pop it, but they have another cypher to
Mhm.
start it. And there is the Belmer.
Uh, ooh, and then Balmer goes down fairly quickly. However, it does seem if the Goatman decides to use the abnormal, it could mean no trade for endgame. However, he
Yeah,
puts the embalmer down, immediately recognizing that the other cipher is possibly primed.
and they pop it, and the Belmer doesn't have. Oh,
Oh!
oh,
And it seems like a little bit of a fumble there from the Gravekeeper, um, accidentally going through the cage. However, the embalmer is able to get up soon and still has a coffin to work with if and the perfumer is nearby in hotel. If the embalmer is able to kite this out maybe. Hmm.
the Belmer is the use the coffin. Oh,
Good discipline from the perfumer or from the goatman there, but it does seem that the perfumer will be going down fairly fast. And what seemed like a good tie
yeah.
position from the survivors is now possibly a 4 kill or even 3 kill.
Yeah, the perfumer heals up a bit slower than the others.
Mm,
So it's kinda unfortunate for the soul right here. Only for the gravekeeper went down. No, the moment that gravekeeper went down uh, after that that was kinda unrecoverable.
mm,
Now he tried to go for some dungeon spots to spot out the embalmer.
mm,
Let's see if the hunter can secure this 4K in the round one, or
mm.
as to go for the 3K.
I think
The embalmer tried for the gate.
mm. Wow, I think that the embalmer recognized that the dungeon or the goatman was uh looking for dungeon and is opening the
Yeah,
gate now, which actually he might be
and
able to get open.
no, it
Oh,
doesn't get in time. Oof.
hmm,
I
that is
could
so
fly but
unfortunate.
not.
Mm,
It's not enough to secure one escape. And it's a 4K from 637 Hunter, uh, and a lot of pressure now on WW.
mhm. Yeah, well played to both teams.
The mistake was when the goalkeeper went down. It
Oh,
that
definitely.
were to them Belmer, and Kulu recovered that. So they at that moment, it wasn't a recoverable, no, it wasn't a recoverable because of
I
the.
think I think there might have been a miscommunication between the survivors, just because the Gravekeeper shovel was also on cooldown, so uh, the timing was just extremely, like, by the time the cipher popped, it was just unfortunate.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 5 seconds behind
Um,
of the shovel cooldown. So that was kind of unfortunate for them, and I think the idea was to force a little bit of fuel and then use the shovel right away when the hunter went near, because he get away from the hill, no, but didn't have the shovel to work, no. So he went down and couldn't use the shovel for the cooldown, and went down. I'm sorry, and went down. So.
mhm. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell, especially because Gravekeeper did have borrow time and could possibly take the Terror Shock. Um, and the Gravekeeper, while the Embalmer was in balloons, hopped into Shovel immediately, which I I'm not too sure was the best play there. Um, since the Shovel being on cooldown did kind of cost them the round, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now we are moving in the second half. 637 survivors against WWW Hunter, and now the WWW are behind in for 5 points against 637. So the Hunter now has to do a 4K or at least a 3K to do a great result.
Yeah, in order to draw it out, the hunter does need to get a 4 kill. However, if the hunter does get a 3 kill, that means the round does go to 637.
Yeah. We are moving in the bumping phase. The hunter is banning now 2 survivors and another Seer Antiquarian ban.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised, since it is most likely going to be a Goatman. And the survivors do opt for a Novelist and Puppeteer first pick. Which does that mean that Puppeteer is going to be global ban for second round, which it's alright. It might actually be a good play here. But does
the worst thing that can happen is that the puppeteer, the psychology story remains global banned for next rounds in round 1. I prefer a puppeteer and then a psychologist. And talking about psychologists, the psychologist is getting banned.
They also go for magician here, which is quite interesting. I feel like, have we seen too much of magician? I don't feel like we've seen much of magician.
No, we didn't see too much magician in this tourney.
And especially with that buff, it makes him more so a strong round 2 pick, if I remember correctly, because he can nullify the IV thing, but he is going to be global ban now.
It's a great one. I prefer magician rounds because you against Alabalu, magician is not that. If you are like 100%, it's a great pick. If there is the risk that the hunter is gonna play Alabalu, not that good in my opinion. So I think 637 right here are 100% sure that the hunter is gonna play Goatman.
Mm, I agree. I do think like uh, they are going to play Goatman since it seems like in their other matchups they have played Goatman. Um, yeah, and it seems like they're picking first officer, fourth pick to keep him available for the next rounds.
Yeah, they keep the rescuer as last, so they don't have to like global ban for next rounds. And it's different from other team, no? We see other team pick the Great Keeper in round one, in the first two slots, or even or in third, and they don't want to keep the rescuer at the last because the risk that the hunter is gonna targeting the rescuer, it's high, no? So, and the Great Keeper is a great global ban as a rescuer because you keep safe mercenary, you keep safe first officer, and etc.
Yeah, Gravekeeper does exceedingly well round one, especially versus Hullabaloo. The shovel is able to tank the color hit, so which is absolutely great. That and with Gravekeeper's new buff, even if he gets cancelled out of the shovel, it's, if I remember correctly, if the animation is interrupted, it only takes damage to the shovel.
Yeah, it takes damage for in the shovel if the animation. So if you choose the buff, the mini dash to go, he doesn't go out from the shovel and tank the.
It does seem that the Goatman is spawning top left with Novelist on bridge. And it does seem that they are carrying 3 borrowed times.
Yep.
Which is quite unique for round one. I feel like typically we see full Sui, if not like just one borrowed time.
Yeah, I think the idea here, maybe they were predicting Sangria, no? Because of the knee jerk of the broken windows builds. So they could try to like predict Sangria too, even if Magician and Puppeteer works really really well, even without the firing. So we are entering the second half under the WWW against the 637 Survivor. And 637 has to secure at least one escape to secure the first round.
All right, and
The
the
novice,
hunter is headed straight for middle. Um, it seems like he's kind of
yeah, a
just
bit of like,
staring off the. Uh,
yeah.
oh, this routing is very
Okay,
interesting.
they went for the puppeteer. I was expecting that he was going for the novelist. Uh, so the puppeteer here it's securing the presence to the hunter now.
It does seem that ooh, that was a very good cage from the Goatman, but it does seem that
Yeah,
he tried to do the mind game where uh the puppeteer breaks the cage in Lewis, and then the Goatman interrupts the cage animation. However, the Goatman was unsuccessful at it. Um, Carrying peepers over abnormal as well, which is different from the other hunter.
yeah, because people makes the difficult for the survivors, and you see them a little bit better behind walls. So I think he wants to secure quick downs instead of like pressuring Cypress. And let's see if that works.
Now, Goatman does finally reach full presence. However, the rescuer and the uh, rescued are running in the same direction. Um, with Novelist nearby, it seems that the puppeteer is just using the tide to die in the corner away from Cyphers, which is very good from the puppeteer. And it seems the Cyphers are really good. I think that's the first officer going back towards puppeteer's old Cyphers, so no progress is lost as well.
And it looks like the other match because in the other match the novelist went down and then ran towards the car, and now instead of the embedmer going for the rescue, I think they are not going for that.
I think they're in a good position to sell, especially with like all the serfs being relatively full health and the cage just dying right before Novelist got hit, which is really unfortunate for that goat man.
Yeah. Now the novelist is kiting, and that's another book to work with. Let's see if you going for the Palestine is not going for that. Now they have one Cypher left, and they have two Cypers.
This is really good discipline from the novelist and like waiting for the goatman to hit or expecting that pallet stun. And again, dying away from that last cipher, which is the farthest away from where Novelist is. So Goatman cannot pressure it at all.
Now the has a little bit of time for the Cypher to be primed, even if it's not that long, like 5 seconds. The Cypher will be primed, and he secures the rescue. They both the novelist doesn't have the borrow time, so the first officer has to body block this. He body blocks, and the puppet happens, and they are in a good position to even tie that.
It does seem the borrow time did work out in their favor. And not only that, they have so much resources for endgame. Because unfortunately the Goatman was not able to pressure at all. With Magician having all 3 decoys, Novelist having a book, and First Officer still having a watch.
Yeah, so now the Magician is getting near the gate. It's not really a problem, but it goes down really quickly, considering the spot he will. But they seem to tie right here. He doesn't have the time to go there. Let's. No, he doesn't have the time.
All right.
So now that 637 survivors died. They are ahead of 5 points of a full 4K. So that's good from 637 side.
Yeah, I think their points now currently are 7-2, with 637 taking round 1. If I mean, this isn't looking great for WWW. Their hunter would have to get possibly like a 4 kill to match the 5 points that 637 is missing. Or not 637, sorry. WWW is missing. But as we can see, it looks like the 637 survivors are fairly strong and do have a lot of confidence in their ability to contain and knowledge on where to die and map
Yeah,
control as well. Mm-hmm.
even one 3K from WWW, the matchup wise, so in the old matchup was good because you can secure something for the next round, a little bit more points. With a tie, it's good for the sleuths and not that good for the turret here. Because now if a W Hunter starts right now, he has to 5k 4k 4k to tie the situation in points wise, but now and then the source has to tie has to do a tie to tie everything and go for the next round. And if not, it's kind of bad for WWW.
Mm-hmm. I fully
Now
agree.
637 is banning a map. Let's see what they are planning, what they don't want to play in. I'm predicting Leo's memory ban. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why. Predicting a Leo's. What are you predicting?
I think it could be Leo's. I mean, looking at their 637, it does seem that their hunter plays wax artist, which Leo's isn't the greatest for wax artist. I think if they wanted to gear towards the wax artist map or wax artist pick, they could possibly pick like Lakeside, where a lot of the ciphers are in the open, and wax could just bomb it off from a distance, giving them the map control. However, WWW also has an Ivy pick, and Ivy is strong like on a variety of maps. So
Yeah, and they banned our factory. They try to ban a small map, and WWW responds with another small map, no? Because if you notice that the other team doesn't want to go in a small map like Earth Factory, you pick a red church and you say like, I want to play in a small map. I want to pick that. So we are playing there, and you can't play your wax artist.
yeah, I mean, I don't commonly see wax artists on Red Church, especially with those really tall walls. And middle, like the church area, makes it great to transition into Graveyard, which is right also next to Godkite, which could be really hard to deal with as wax artists. However, as for WWW, they could possibly pick Ivy on this map as well.
Yeah, research works really well for Ivy because it's small and she can secure a lot of pressure on ciphers. Even though we saw Ivy in this tourney and she didn't perform that well, no?
I don't quite remember, but we'll see.
Because I saw some Ivy and they didn't because Ivy it's really hard to play and you have to you have to be comfy with Ivy and playing Ivy or you lose or you win. You don't tie with Ivy. It's impossible to tie with Ivy. Or you win or you lose. It's impossible to tie. And we saw a little bit of Ivy in this tourney, and they performed well, even though it's really hard, no. So it's not that easy to secure those 3Ks, 4Ks like players
Mhm.
do.
I feel like, especially
So
with the like Ivy nerf about her Ostracons, it really affects her endgame pressure. Which was her like one of the catalysts on why she was such a strong round 2 hunter, because she could easily turn 4-man endgames to 4-man kills.
yeah, I saw yesterday and today IGL, and again, Ivy didn't perform well because of the Ostracon. They think that they can be broken really easily, and they don't have the down they had in the past. So now she can secure really great pressure on Cyber.
All right, and now
So
we are
now we
going
are.
into the... Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Alright, so now we are going into the ban and pick phase, and we are seeing the Seer ban straight away, kind of hovering on the... and deliberating on the second pick. Honestly, I think here, if... This should be hard. Oh, and they're going straight out for the forward ban, not allowing that forward to be played at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. They doesn't want the forward. They don't want to play against the forward. Even though in church, it's really hard to go against to play it. Sorry, to play it because it's there are a lot of force, and you have to be really good with forward there. So banning here the forward is it's giving. I'm scared of forward right here, and I don't want to play against him. I don't want to.
And I mean, 637 does have like a forward under their belt. And it does seem that they're opting to ban the opera singer over the hullabaloo, confident that the enemy hunter would not pick Hulla. And they're also playing Fire Investigator, Airplanist, and Coordinator, who are all very, very strong containers.
Yeah, and Fire Investigator is a great round pick. In Wet Church even more because in the it works really well. Aeroplanist right now it's one of the best container in the game because his ability is really strong. And the coordinator again, she buys time for free. She shoots again, and like the hunter remains there for some seconds.
And it does seem that they're oh, so they hovered from the knight and instead chose the prisoner. I was going to say that it seems like all the survivors that they chose were strong kiters until prisoner. However, prisoner, I mean, out of all the decoders, does have one of the stronger kiting abilities with the stun.
Behind the Pharaoh Lady prisoner right now, it's one of the best kiter. Behind the Pharaoh Lady and and a little bit of explorer too, because he can hide a little bit and confuse the hunter. And they opt out to play two sub rescuers, no? Because I don't consider the coordinator as a main. You don't want to play coordinator for the rescuing part. You're playing coordinator for the flare gun.
Oh, and it does seem that the hunter is choosing Hullabaloo. I do kind of agree with this, just because Red Church is a small map, although it's not the greatest for Hullabaloo, um, because there's not like a lot of. He doesn't have like a lot of what people would call like jump spots, right? Um,
Yeah.
he could still like jump over the walls, and that no attack recovery does make things a little dicey at times.
Yeah, but the comp that 637 chose, it's really good against Avalu actually. They have the distance and they have the time buying rate, so they can secure something right here against this Avalu.
And it does seem that they're going for 2 borrowed times, and Airplanist does have Tide, Turner, and Knee-Jerk Reflex, which is I don't think we see that build quite often. I feel like Flywheel Tide is a lot more common.
Yeah, it's understandable because the jetpack of the aeroplanist works well as you use the jetpack to and you can use the considering the map to rotate towards another spot to find.
Part of me wonders.
Considering that there are a lot of like palettes to work with, windows, etc.
Part of me wonders like what hunter they were preparing to face, just because all 4 of them are carrying Knee-Jerk. I think were they possibly preparing for a bonbon? But
yeah,
either way,
I feel like they are more comfortable with knee jerk. Even me, it's more comfortable with knee jerk than flywheel. But right now, flywheel works really well in round 2 and round 3. So that's interesting, actually.
yeah. I was just thinking about it, especially like maybe if they were preparing for an Ivy. I feel like Flywheel could be a little bit better just to get out of that full presence range, but it does seem that Hullabaloo is opting to chase Graveyard, which I'm not against. It's definitely interesting though. Fire Investigator taking the first color.
Yeah, they got 2 colors really quickly right here. Now he's going to for the church and the prisoner rotate out, so he can kite in this spot. And like I said before, in this area, the fire investigator really.
It does seem. I mean, Fire Investigator had both balls used now, but with no hit at one cipher completed, it does look really good for these survivors.
Yeah, now he returns for graveyard and we use the ball. The Alabaloo decides to not destroy the balloon, so the for investigator can use that again if he wants to return in church.
And it does seem. I mean, like if we look again, the early double color was kited out by the Fire Investigator, which is wonderful. And unfortunately for the hunter, Insolence has not procced yet, so he is chasing without any jumps.
Yeah, now he gets another 2 hit. Now he needs to mind game a little bit on this pallet. He doesn't get the last ball. He goes again for churches with the balloon.
And actually,
that carpet.
It does seem like the Hullabaloo earlier at Graveyard was able to get an immediate double color. However, they're close to popping their 3rd and 4th ciphers, and their last cipher is at 50%. which is a really, really bad position for this hullabaloo at the moment.
Yeah, the Prime Investigator kited the kite of the Prime Investigator was really long, and it bought a lot of time for the survivors. Now the aeroplanist goes in. He gets the hit on the aeroplanist. That he still secures the rescue with tide, and the Cyper is near to be primed. They can prime this
Mhm. They can
if they
pop,
want,
yeah, and the
and they did.
hullabaloo, the hullabaloo does not have detention either, um, which means that they are preparing for a four-man endgame, and with prisoner full kite, if he decides to chase the prisoner, it might not be very good for him.
Yeah, I guess for the for the prisoner right now, he uses the bow. That bow was the balloon of the match, and it is still useful.
Uh-huh. And opting to
Now
chase the
the
fire
fire investigation,
investigator again.
I
Um,
think, yeah.
yeah, I think this is looking like a three-man escape for um 637, especially with uh all three survivors at the gate and coordinator still having that gun. Um, well, yeah, congrats on 637 for the three escape.
Yeah, and the coordinator didn't use the gun in 1 second of the matchup.
Hmm.
So I feel like if they put another tide on maybe or the Cordy or someone else, they could secure a 4K right here because of the Fire Investigator kite.
Hmm.
Because the thing was this match was wonderful. He did a four Cyper kite at least.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that was
Considering
also like, uh,
considering given the chair.
mhm.
So he really secured the match right here.
uh, I also think that like the prisoner cipher rush, along with airplane is 2%, really made a difference there, especially with fire investigator not allowing that early, despite the double color. So the panic doesn't stack on. So they were just able to completely cipher rush that entire time, even though the hollow had abnormal. The rotations from the survivors were very good. The fire investigator never kited on any ciphers. Um, until I guess like kind of the end where Hullabaloo dragged him all the way. But yeah, even with that chair being there, they still transitioned back into graveyard, not allowing that to occur.
Yeah, that this match was really on Sword side.
Mm-hmm.
They worked really well with their items, and uh, and the fire investigators use uh, use the balloons in a really clever way, no?
Mm-hmm.
You will use that first balloon a lot of times, then block the path of the hunter, like
Mm-hmm.
it was the path with the second balloon near the main the window. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's see now how 637 hunter respond to this, and how the subs wants to secure this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, technically, in order to win this, 637 Hunter just needs a tie. So we uh we might be seeing like um possible like I guess Tie Hunter from I Love My Tummy.
Yeah.
I think I remember like I Love My Tummy playing Galatea. This was like a while back, but I think I Love My Tummy plays like Galatea, Bonbon, who are really good at, well, not really Galatea, but Bonbon is notorious for tying. And really all a tie is all they need in order to win this matchup at the moment.
Let's see how he wants to this win on the second round for 6-3-7. I'm very curious of this match right here.
I wonder who they're gonna pick, honestly, because unfortunately for WWW, Embalmer is not banned, and Embalmer is like such a strong character for I guess when you want to get well, here they have to go for a 3 escape in order to draw this out, but Embalmer is still like a very, very strong character so that hunters are not interacting with the other survivors that much. A lot of resources for endgame, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they can try to play the mechanic and banning the Sangria. Because the mechanic right now it's a great decoder, or they can try to play on Cyber Rush side and like try to do a great first kite and then the code. But we have to see right now.
I mean, if they really wanted to as well, they could try going the harasser character route. But we haven't seen like harassing meta in a long time. And now that we're going into the ban pick phase, the hunter does ban out the seer and antiquarian outright, which I think is good. I feel like that's very, very standard. And WWW banning that hullabaloo, not allowing him to be played, which does make a lot of sense.
Let's see what they choose for the first set of picks. Let's see what they are planning to do. Sacks to the side. Let's see. And puppet and cord. Okay.
They might be going like the route of having just relying on those strong kites, to try to secure a possibly 4-man endgame.
He bans another strong kiter. The acro. Is a great. It's a great strong kiter, so...
Funnily enough, if we look at the survivor bans, they did ban Antiquarian and Acrobat that are very, very strong Bonbon counters. So we might actually see Bonbon coming out.
Yeah, they picked the Novelist too. They are planning to play strong kiters right here. Because the risk of a Bonbon, it's evident.
That and the hunter bans Fire Investigator, which is a really interesting choice. I think Fire Investigator is strong on this map because he allows survivors to transition between these areas that have nothing in between them, specifically like church and graveyard, and the survivors do opt to pick psychologist. So it does seem they're going for a very tanky kind of comp with psychologist and puppeteer.
They don't care about the presence, and I think they know that the risk of a Bonbon is it's there. So they need to secure strong kites, no?
They also decided to not play any characters that have decoding debuffs, Coordinator being the kind of exception, but it's only when a survivor's on chair. So that means when a survivor's not on chair, she still has her regular decoding speed.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what the survival the hunter wants to play right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Please, I want to see a bonbon game. I want to see. Please. I'm begging you. Please.
Oh!
Oh my god!
Oh my
My
gosh!
goat sculptor. Finally. Yes.
Let's go! Oh my gosh!
Call me the biggest laser of sculptor. Oh my god.
I'm very excited to see this. So, from what I know, I Love My Tummy has played Sculptor to, if I remember correctly, it was during when everyone was Koa ranking, and they played a lot of Sculptor in Koa rank. So I'm excited to see their Sculptor again. I'm a very, very big fan of watching Sculptor in comp, especially with like during International Koa with Tools Elena. And being able to get like
next Koa, this year Koa Sculptor saw a lot of play, no? And she did a great in this year in the last year Koa. So I'm excited to see the Sculptor. I made the Sculptor. And now the new buff of Inso, she's really good right now. So I want to see her more. And she spawns at middle broken. Middle broken, and there is that he goes for the puppeteer for the presence, or even the even the Psy. They are both good for presence. But the puppeteer is kinda a little bit countered by her for the chip damage. If she does that correctly, she can secure like to be completely useless.
Additionally, I do think like if she decides to chase the psychologist might rotate into God Kite, and then the coordinator has to rotate down to Graveyard, which is a lock cipher. So that means that coordinator will have to go to middle, and puppeteer will have to go to Galatea, running the risk of possibly running into her. So I think this spawn from the Galatea is quite good. Whether she decides to chase the puppeteer or the psychologist.
Yeah. Let's see what the sculptor wants to do. Going into church, playing again, playing for the puppeteer, I think.
Oh, and pivoting into the coordinator, immediately getting a check from that palette, which is really, really good on the side of the Galatea.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Another cheap damage for the Galatea, and now the coordinator is one shot, and she has to secure this flare gun. She remains there. She Oh my god!
Oh my god! Beautiful
Okay.
statues from I Love My Tummy. The
Absolute cinema. I can say anything. Oh my god. Okay, that was beautiful. Block the flare gun with the sculpture, and then securing the no
Mm,
no recovery from the hunter. That's huge actually, because
mm,
uh, it looks like Anana Balu. He secured she's
mm.
without any recovery. So
Not only that, Novelist might get this rescue after half, and Coordinator
yeah,
unfortunately does not have anything to kite with other than a flywheel, which doesn't put the survivors. Oh!
ooh,
Oh!
trying to blink to do that.
Mm,
But I thought she hit the chair, but she didn't.
mm,
No, he secures this rescue even if after Alpha, and there is a double down situation right here.
which is really unfortunate uh, for the survivors. Um, However, with that pallet stun, it seems that they might be able to possibly. Oh, and great patience from that coordinator, waiting out those statues before vaulting. Um, but yeah, it does seem like this rebound is going fairly well. But this, ooh, it.
And
Oh,
oh, he play will both sculpture and it from the
mm,
for the coordinators, and that bites a lot of time for them. Now the
mm,
novelist can return on supporting, but she secures another tie. And the novelist doesn't have exit pass, so he remains down there. And I think
mm,
the sculpture wants that the novelist remains down
mm.
and not putting him on a chair.
I think this also kind of just goes to show how good Cypher Rush is. Despite Cord getting such uh getting down so early, they were still able to pop 4 ciphers, which is what they need for this is like the ideal situation. Well, other than Novelist being downed. Force 400% decoding is extremely good. Um once the first down happens.
And now
However,
the psychologist
oh,
gets, and she gets after the chip damage. So now they have two problems to
mm,
recover, and looks like and it can be a 4K.
mhm. Especially with Novelist bleeding out. Um All she needs is the puppeteer to die before he possibly rescues the psychologist. However, oof, with that puppet ability,
Yeah, and he goes
beautiful.
down, and it's a
Mm,
4K from
wow.
the other side. And congratulations to 637 for
Mm.
winning this matchup.
Yeah, that was very beautifully played from the Galatea. Just getting those double downs, the patience with the chips. I feel like we were
Yeah,
able to see like
uh,
a Galatea masterclass.
she the Galatea was that Galatea was beautiful. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
blocking the flare gun, um, securing fast downs. No, the coordinator
Mm-hmm.
died really quickly, and used the flare. They did. The survivors had a little bit of advantage after the coordinator after that the coordinator got rescued by the novelist. And I think the problem was that the novelist went support when the coordinator went down.
Mm-hmm.
The coordinator no, so without
Yeah.
the recovery. And then the novelist went down. No exit path to work with, and at that moment you can't do really much about that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it was really unfortunate on that action. No,
Mm-hmm.
for
All
the
right.
coordinator that went that early down after the
Mm-hmm.
novelist went for support.
All right. So with that, 637 does advance. Um, and GG's to both teams. And thank you for everyone for coming today. I believe later in the day we do have more matchups, which are CC versus IT.
Yeah.
Which is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to commentate with you this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It was really
Mm-hmm.
and I was happy about that sculpture pick. I was really
Same
happy.
here. Mm-hmm. All right, thank you for everyone